was probably worried, too, about what was going to happen. He nodded his chin and looked down at the rose in my hand. I was supposed to drop it on the coffin. That's what everybody was waiting for. Instead, I was staring down at this hole in the ground, thinking... That was it. I wasn't really thinking about anything. I wasn't crying, which was weird. All my friends from high school were. There were 15 of them here, not because I was so popular, but because we had a really small class and most of us were pretty tight because we had all grown up together. Although I guess most people liked me, all of my classmates had said or done something, a lot of sorry texts, even from Riley, who was a grade ahead of me. My friends were crying. My neighbors were crying. Jake wasn't crying, but he was a cowboy, and cowboys didn't cry. Also, he was probably really worried about what was going to happen to his job, and fear had a way of distracting you from your grief. I suppose I was numb. With my mom, I remember being so sad, but that was after months of her being really, really sick. This was like someone turned off a switch on Sam Mason. "We've got people coming back to the house," Jake said softly. "We'd best be getting back." See, he even talked like a cowboy, which was not how most guys in my class talked, but Jake wasn't like most guys, not even when he'd been in high school. My dad used to say Jake had an old soul. Okay. It was cold, too. I was in a dress, my only nice one, and my legs were freaking blocks of ice because my nicest coat only barely covered my ass. Leggings versus Montana in January, #leggings lose. I held the rose out over the hole, careful to keep my feet on the green mat covering the ground, and opened my hand. The rose fell. I heard it hit the top of the coffin. I had this crazy idea that maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe I should jump in, get it, crawl out, and do it over again. But Jake put his arm around my shoulders and started moving me back to where the line of cars was waiting outside the cemetery. He'd driven me in his truck. We weren't fancy people who needed limousines to go to a burial. Once I was inside, I buckled up and watched the line of people who were still dropping roses. There were a lot. That was good, I thought. It meant my dad was liked, and that was important. Except I didn't know why exactly. "Are there a lot of people coming back, do you think?" I asked. I looked over at Jake, and he just raised his eyebrows. "Yeah, I guess so," I answered myself. "We'll have lots of casserole and stuff. Mrs. Petty will bring her bundt cake. You love that cake." "Ellie?" "I'm not crying. Why aren't I crying?" "You're in shock still. It's natural." "When are we going to talk about, all of it?" "Not today. I told Howard today was for family and friends, about saying goodbye to a good man." Howard was my dad's lawyer, a friend, too, and basically the only lawyer in town. He'd been the one to figure out how all of this got sorted out, the ranch, me. Because here was the really bad thing. Beyond being an orphan, beyond being underage, what Jake said about family wasn't really true. There wasn't a lot. There was my mom's crazy sister who lived in Florida, and I had only met her once at my mom's funeral. She'd sobbed and cried, and then I think she tried to hit on my dad because he'd gotten really mad at her and told her to leave and never come back. My dad wasn't Tom Cruise, but he had that kind of old Western cowboy look that I guess women were drawn to. Since then, there had been nothing. Not a card, not a call. That was it. Both grandparents were deceased. My parents had met a little later in life. My mom was 38 when she had me. My dad's mom was the only grandparent I could even remember, but she had passed away before my mom did. A lot of death, right? I'm too young for so many to have died.